Good day and welcome to today's edition of the African Student Voices, the program that brings you the voices of the students of the continent on issues pertaining to higher education in Africa. We shall be talking about formation of student youth groups in African universities and the challenges and prospects. I would introduce my guest shortly when we come back from this break. But remember, you can always follow us on Facebook at Association of African Universities, YouTube at the Association of African Universities, and at Twitter AAU_67. We will be back shortly.
Are you a fresh graduate from senior high school or a mature applicant? Thinking of a university to enroll in Ghana? Is it possible to get a university of high moral and discipline standard? Then look no further than the Presbyterian University College Ghana, where we believe in holistic education. We train the head, heart, and hands. We are a Christian university accredited by the National Accreditation Board Ghana and affiliated to the University of Ghana, Legon, KNUST, and University of Cape Coast. We offer instant employable programs such as physician assistantship, nursing, mathematics, rural and community development, environmental and natural resource management, business administration, social studies, business studies, information and communication technology, business economics, agribusiness, with experienced, innovative and disciplined lecturers to take care of students' needs in a conducive environment. Our campuses are located at Okuru Abetifi, Akuapem Ekuropong, Asante Achim, Tema, and Kumasi. Wondering how to apply to the school? It's simple. You should have an entry requirement of WASI A1 to C6, SSSCE A to D, HND holder, GBC, and ABC holder. Mature applicants should be 25 years and above. Apply by purchasing an e-voucher at 100 Ghana Cedi from the following banks: Agricultural Development Bank, GCB Bank, Ecobank, HFC Bank, Prudential Bank, Unibank, Universal Merchant Bank, and Fidelity. Buy forms using Visa or MTN mobile money by visiting the school's website at www.presbyuniversity.edu.gh. Application forms may also be obtained at all college campuses, the Presbyterian Church of Ghana Head Office, Osukoku Hill, and all PCG offices throughout the country. Now you can walk confidently in the job market thanks to Presbyterian University College Ghana. Call us or visit our website for more info.
Welcome back to the African Student Voices, the show that brings you the contributions of the students of the continent to enhance higher education on the face of the continent. Before we went on our first break, I promised introducing to you the gentleman who would help me in discussing formation of student and youth groups on African university campuses, considering the challenges and the prospects. I have with me King David Cartey, who is the Executive Director of Youth Without Borders Ghana. Welcome, King.
Welcome, sir.
And also Eugene Cyril Ackom-Damtey of the Model United Nations Ghana. Welcome, Eugene.
Thank you very much.
All right. So I'll start with you, Eugene. Model United Nations Ghana, what exactly do you do?
Okay, so the Model United Nations Ghana is specifically a platform where you role play what happens at the United Nations level. So just like the aspirations of the youth who usually see their leaders, their presidents, their ambassadors at the United Nations conferences and how they actually make submissions and make policies for their country. You are given that opportunity to also role play that kind of conference. And then it's more or less like a research conference. So you are given a country where you would do more research on and try to be in the shoes of your ambassador or your president. It also gives you the platform to be able to draw up policies that fit into the SDGs, because after we are done with the conference, whatever we come out with as our resolution, final resolution, we send it to the United Nations Information Center, who have always been partners with us.
Okay, that's fine. King David, your organization, I recall that we have met once at the African Union, absolutely, and then you came to represent your group. What exactly do you do? What exactly does your organization do?
Thank you very much. As the name says, Youth Without Borders. As young people in a group like this, we believe that young people are the head and not the tail.
All right.
Oftentimes, we are being coerced, we are being downplayed, and they don't even consider our views. And we think that young people have potentials, they're intelligent, they are creative. The vision of young people is far different and even better than our old folks. So why don't we come together as a group and put our ideals together? Because after all, when we are dead and gone, it's the ideas that are going to live and then bring that impact we really want to make and bring the difference into our nation, Ghana, and the continent at large. So YWB came into being. And one most important thing is that YWB was actually put together in Addis Ababa and not Ghana. Okay. Just like you mentioned it. Those are Ghanaian folks, Ghanaian chaps and young people. But we all met in Addis Ababa. But like, this is actually where our very first president, Kwame Nkrumah, declared that, hey, we all supposed to come together as people, one African continent. African unity is the most important thing. So then the Youth Without Borders came into being. We've been in operation from 2014 till now. Okay. And it's been fantastic. Okay. It's been great. Okay. And our bias, if I could say, is towards the youth. Okay. I am a young person, a youth for that matter. And I believe that, no, we need to have the opportunity to excel. And if the opportunities are not given, we have to create our own opportunities. So YWB exists to make sure that young people who are creative, who are intelligent, and do not even realize because of a system we have created for ourselves, we will let them understand and know that, hey, no, you are not dumb. You are not unintelligent as is being said. Yes, you are that powerful. Make your voices count. Make your talents count. Let us know that you can bring that difference and change the narrative we're actually seeing in Ghana and then the world at large. So we obviously believe that young people should come together, connect, and then bring that difference that we see. So why do we actually stand for young people? And when you come to us, our membership, young people, we actually work with the AU line of whom a young person is. Until you are 35, you are still a young person. So when you look at, yes, our membership rate is all about everybody beneath the age of 35. Yes, and then people that are doing their PhD in our membership, we have members, at least 4 people are doing their PhD. As for masters, we cannot talk about it. And then with the bachelors, we can't also talk about it. So we are actually consciously building a young intellectual student that actually come up to be great leaders. Because in our African system, as we see now, resources do not develop nations and continents. It's the brains. And as students growing up to become big leaders, as we see, what do we need to do? We need to nurture ourselves, our intuition, the understanding of even what leadership is all about, to be able to become good leaders when we get the chance and opportunity to deliver for our people.
Cyril, I'll come to you, but still, King David, for the purposes of our program, how was it? You did hint that you founded this organization. The organization was founded in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, in 2004. How
14.
was and 14? Sorry. What was the membership then? Founding members, what was the key motive? Now, I am interested because our audience need to understand how this youth organization or student-based youth organization was founded, the basis on which others will be motivated to replicate across Africa to get the desired effect that this program is intended to achieve. Because the encouragement is that a lot of youth and students should build up organizations with intentions to make Africa a better place. So can you please highlight a bit on the foundation of Youth Without Borders?
Thank you. We moved from Ghana individually to attend the program in Addis Ababa. Okay. But we know ourselves, just like I knew already, I knew Cyril also. Okay. And we all believe in youth development. Okay. And we have been questioning ourselves, why is it that young people cannot deliver? Why are young people suffering? Why are we being suppressed? And we realized that we needed the connection. We needed to create that alliance. We cannot be individualistic and be fighting. We have to be pack.
Okay.
Just like the broom. You cannot fight as a single thing. You have to be packed. So, okay, then why don't we come up with this particular organization? Actually a brainchild of Musa, who realized that no, we are all good, we are all fighting in this cause. So why don't we do it? So okay, in the room of Musa, we all came together and were like, okay, then Youth Without Borders is actually going to be formed right here in Addis Ababa. And it is historic in the sense that Addis Ababa in Africa is a historic country. Talking about the AU, talking about their victory over Italy, the Awaah fight and all that. So now YWB is going to be a fantastic organization. We are just going to go far like never before, because where it is coming together from is not a joke. So with that, the idea came into being. And we had already taken our forms, as in registration forms and all that, from Ghana to Addis Ababa. Okay. So there and there, we filled it, we put every single thing together, everybody signed, because we don't need somebody from far that we would not be able to get him or her signing. Everybody signed it, we got it together. We came back to Ghana and we started processing, because you have to be a registered organization in Ghana. You cannot just be operating illegally. You can't be a youth organization and then you don't have any legal documentation to back it. So from there, YWB was vetted. And then we started action. So from that up to now, we've been very active, we've been strong, we've been vocal, we've been advocating for young people, and every single thing that needs to do with young people, Ghana and Africa, we are in there.
Okay, so now viewers, the orientation here is that there are no excuses to why young people cannot bring themselves together towards achieving a common goal. He just told us that it was a product of a room discussion. All right? And then that idea manifested into what today we call Youth Without Borders. Now, Eugene, I want to understand Model United Nations. How can you give us how it was birthed?
Okay. Exactly as my brother said, I could actually find similarities within the concept that brought about their group. And you realize that it is one thing that goes along whatever you are starting up any youth group. Okay. Ghana International Model United Nations was an idea from somebody who had already had the experience. In Geneva, that is, should I say, the headquarters for the Model United Nations. They have actually been doing this thing in a long while and invites youth leaders and other people from across the country to participate. So you have that experience and you wish to have that in your country. So 10 years ago, you have one gentleman who had been invited to be part of this conference, goes in, gets all that experience, comes down to his country, discuss whatever had happened over there, and then let's see how best we can also role play this in Ghana. So Philip Ajiman McClaw, he has been the brain behind this idea, and with the help of other colleagues, we been able to have this year on. It's an annual program, basically in January. So next year, January, 10 years of how long the Model United Nations have been. This is what happened. Within the first 5 years, you know, it's something you're starting up. It's not going to be that easy. So you basically deal with the resources that you have. All you need was accommodation for those who are applying to be part of the conference, your venue for where you're having the conference, and the number of people you are expecting, how you're going to cater for them. Then you look out for your speakers. Then those who are going to actually serve as your officials for the conference. Basically, it was within us because the concept was brought down. We all read into it. There were so many videos on YouTube and the others, and we also see what happens at the United Nations. So you can actually fit into the situation. And then we now picked up from that experience. from 5 years to the next 4 years, that was up to last year, we were able to now train the youth from our own country into other countries. So today, Ghana International Model United Nations have been able to raise other Model United Nations in extra countries such as Nigeria, Benin, and then Sierra Leone as well.
Okay, so that leads me to my next question. I'll start with you and then I'll come to King David. Now, you've told us that your organization, now, when you started in Ghana, you had done good works. Now, you've extended it to Nigeria, Benin, and Sierra Leone.
Yes.
So it means that you are impacting other young people across the continent.
Exactly.
3 other countries have been mentioned apart from the home country, that is Ghana.
Yes.
So it leads me to the next question. Although this is part of the answer, how has society benefited from the Model United Nations Ghana? I think the 3 countries is enough evidence that you are impacting. Are there other benefits?
Yes.
That okay.
Yes. So, like I said earlier, we are usually given a theme, and there are several topics that feed into the theme.
Okay.
And then once the conference begins, all those applicants who now tend to be a part of the conference try to do some level of research to understand the topics in their committees, and then that feeds into the theme. When we are done with this session, whatever the resolutions are, it's more or less like a solution to a major problem that actually feeds into the SDGs. Everybody has a role to play.
Okay.
And so as the youth, we usually try to pick out topics that can be centered to the youth.
Okay.
And then when we are done, we forward everything to the United Nations Information Center. We have, for once or twice, benefited from some of the resolutions.
Okay.
Even to the larger extent where we have our best model being a part of the youth assembly, and then those also who have been more of those who have done more research also being a part of the Geneva conference.
Okay.
If you have that exposure, it also builds your capacity.
Okay.
And for the youth here in Ghana, a lot of them have now been able to concept their mind into doing things of their own here in Ghana. Because maybe before coming to the conference, all you always think about is going to your school, having your certificate, finding yourself some job, and that's the end of it. But now, once you are a part of this conference, your ideology changes to something that is more about us as a country. So you now think of the little things that you could do to also support each other. Today we have friends who are doing projects on recycling. We have Prince Agbata, who is doing excessively well here in Ghana. In other countries, is always trying to do something to help society. We have John Amma and co, who have also benefited from the Model United Nations. There are a lot now that are actually feeding into those in the SHS level.
Okay.
Because for the first time last year, we're able to now add on those in the SHS, so that even at the basic level, you will now have that idea to now think towards what's supposed to be done from your comfort zone to also support your country. So now we have the SHS students who also come in, pick that training, and then before they get to the university level, they have splendid ideas that they can usually come out with.
So basically you're saying that you influence policies?
Yes.
Because you discuss that which is supposed to be discussed at the main United Nations assembly. And also you are able to participate in, you gave examples of the Geneva conferences, and that is actually empowering young people because you have first-hand interactions with persons who formulate the policies for the world.
Yes.
So it prepares young people for future responsibilities, and those are all products of your organization.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's good, and your team is doing well. King David, some of the highlights. I have confessed earlier that I met you and your team at the African Union, and even I think subsequently, you know, that some other programs. So I have seen and known what your organization has been doing to impact the lives of our young people, especially students and youth within and across the continent. But of course, it's not about you and I, it is about the larger audience. So maybe you want to tell us, what has your organization done over time to benefit the entirety of the students and youth of the continent?
Thank you once again. Youth Without Borders has a mission of unleashing and harnessing youth potential for sustainable development.
Okay.
So with that, we deal with training, entrepreneurship training for that matter first, and leadership training also. And we think that entrepreneurship training is key in the sense that students finish school and we are waiting on government for jobs.
Okay.
And it is a problem in the sense that in our various curriculums, there's not much attention to entrepreneurship training.
Okay.
Okay, so then what do? We all come and sit home singing and waiting hallelujah unto God to provide something as government gives us job and government does not give us job. What happens? Young people do not do anything. And for now, we are handicapped. Okay, so why don't we train these young people in school so that before they are done with school, they already have a craft, a skill to deliver, so they don't wait upon government for anything. Because if you wait for government, when are you waiting upon government? There's so many things to be done by government. Yes, so we teach them with yogurt making, shampoo.
Maybe we'll stop at shampoo and we'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, actually a break, not a commercial one, when we come back, you would continue from where you were. And viewers, you can join this conversation at Association of African Universities on Facebook. You can join us. It's also available on YouTube at the Association of African Universities. And if you are on Twitter, you get us at AAU_67. Quick break. We will be back shortly. Welcome back to the African Student Voices, the show that brings you the voices of the students of the continent on enhancing higher education in Africa. Before we went on the break, we were talking about the impact of Youth Without Borders within the African continent. So, King David.
Yes, sir. I stopped at the shampoo.
Okay.
So yes, we trained them how to make yogurt, how to make shampoo, and how to make wrist beads, also liquid soaps. And I tell you that I've actually benefited from one member that participated in one of our trainings and then had a wrist bead. So I have a wrist bead and bordered my name on.
Okay. Can we see it?
No, this is not that wide. So unfortunate. My name embossed on it, and then I have that particular wrist bead out of a training we had for the members and then the general public. So this one is a very good thing. We also had a program called IEC, I Empower Youth Empowerment Campaign. It was a 2-year program we decided to do focusing on students, SHS.
Okay.
But that is where we thought that catch them young and they shall be yours forever, not necessarily that. But then catch them young, let them understand the fact that they need to be disciplined. They need to understand what it takes to be a patriotic person, to be a nationalistic person, to be a Pan-Africanist person before you even finish school. So at least as you go, you know where you are going towards, you know where you are headed, and you know your program. That is it. We also had a training for other young people, and in fact, it was even an annual program where the K University, that's Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi, Ghana, that we're going to do youth technology and then business summit. Okay. So with that, we talk about how you can use technology to increase, improve, and then broadcast your business, not only in Ghana, to other African countries, and then to other continents as well. And this is a yearly program that's Youth Without Borders. Thus, we have people that are already entrepreneurs coming in, young entrepreneurs also coming, and our focus is actually on the young entrepreneurs because we are for young people, and the program in names actually is for young people, Youth Technology and then Business Summit. So that one goes on a year-by-year basis to make sure that all our young people are equipped enough with the technological enhancements in our digital age to be able to make their business function.
Okay, so now just for the purposes of clarity, you all started this whilst you were students?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay, yes. So it tells us that students have no excuses to look at thematic areas that would enhance the agenda or development of our continent. Is that the case?
That is it. I don't think we have an excuse to anything. you cannot give an excuse for failure. Yes, you get it. You fail when you give an excuse that you can't do it again and you quit. But then if you do not make it, or if it does not go well, you have not failed.
Okay.
No, pick up yourself again, put yourself together and hit it. You have not failed. No, it did not go well. Yes, hitches happen. So what? Yes, pick yourself up again and then move up.
Okay.
Who knows the number of times you have to do before you make it? Perhaps you have to master the art. Perhaps you have to be experienced. Perhaps the glory that is coming, you will not be able to handle it if you do not go that downstream. So go there, learn something from there, come back again, reason properly, and then get it working again. Yes, so we don't have an excuse to fail. That we are not doing anything. No, if we thought about that, I don't think Youth Without Borders would have been here. The challenges has been enormous. It's not easy. You go to places you're not even allowed in. Sometimes authority thinks that you are challenging them because you challenge policy, you bring your thoughts in, you fight for youth, you advocate for young people, and they think that no, this agenda is different from ours. These people, we must take very good care of them, or else they will disturb our agenda. And it's happening. You get it? But we cannot let that deter us because we have an agenda. If not because of that, I don't think we'll be here. We talked about how other people and why do we have benefited in terms of our leadership training. We believe that, okay, in as much as we are working and becoming leaders in respect to the UN model game, yes, okay, why don't we make sure that some of our people who have the ambition in being in such situations are connected? So with the little works we've done that has been seen outside there, I can tell you that my youth organization is an advisory, is member of the advisory board of the African Youth Union. Okay. You get it? So at least a 2 years mandate, which is still running. I believe that in the 2 years, if they're supposed to be re-elected, we will still be there because we are still forging for Ghana and then West Africa. Okay. How can a youth organization that is not doing anything be a representative in the youth advisory board representing Ghana and West Africa? You can imagine. So we are trying all hard to be there. We make sure that, okay, there is this continental program with the African Union Youth. That is the African Union Youth Volunteer Corps. Okay. And every year, every country hosted. And as a beneficiary in 2016 in Egypt, I asked myself, why can't Ghana also host it? What can I do as a beneficiary, an alumni, to make sure that Ghana also will host it? Other people from other African countries will come and see what young people are doing in Ghana and what the Ghana government is actually also doing for the young people. I spoke to the people, they said, okay, then talk to your government since it is a continental thing. No problem. We came, we had our several meetings, and we started to work on it. It wasn't easy. The challenges was not easy. Dealing with policymakers, and as a youth group who do not have any locals, what can you achieve? Yeah. But we persisted. We persisted. It got to a point they said, okay, it wasn't going to come on because there's no cash. But it was like, no, okay, all hope is not lost. This one did not go well, but we had not failed. We came back, we thought about something else, and this time we approached the Minister of Youth and Sport himself, Honorable Esiama, and we explained to him why it is a necessity for Ghanaian students, young people, to also benefit from such a continental program. He listened to our plea. He thought there was wisdom in it. So there and there in front of us, he just approved it. You get it? Yeah. So last year, 2017, Ghana hosted the training of the 8th batch of the African Union Youth, African Union Corps, Youth Volunteers Corps, sorry. That is it, AUYVC. Yeah. That is it. I nearly mentioned Youth Without Borders. You said it. Yeah. So that is it.
I followed that on your Facebook page.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So I bear testimony to that.
Exactly.
Okay, so now basically it tells us that nothing good comes without challenges. Sometimes there will be impediments in terms of finance.
Yes.
It could also even be authorities who would have to approve for the next level for the organization. But at least in the midst of all those challenges, you were able to achieve your goal of bringing all of your colleagues here last year.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is good. Eugene, in the case of your organizations, what challenges have you faced in executing your policies over time?
All right. So basically, something quite similar.
Yeah.
Because we were dealing with numbers, it's more or less the financial part of it.
Okay.
And then usually when it comes to venue for handling the conference, it also fits into our timing because most of the times, right from the first 5 years we were talking about, because we wanted to deal with more experienced people that we can easily work with, the tertiary sector was where we focused on. And you realize that their academic calendar was one thing that was being a problem for us.
Okay.
For us to be able to wait until that January to get that space. Because even for you to get a venue, sometimes, I mean, over the Xmas period, over the Easter period and all these places are being used. Okay. So we just decided to probably just pick one specific period that makes it ours, so that as time goes on, we'll now work within the resources that we have and also fall on all those who come on board to sponsor, and then we'll be able to work towards the timing. Now, it got to a time where, like you were saying, all those in authority will probably think you're trying to find your way out and probably make their work somehow cumbersome or not recognized. So you would usually get calls from other bodies trying to, compromise on this program here and there. But if you stand on your feet, if you are focused, if you know what you're actually doing, you look out for those who would actually help you. I mean, there are people who would probably delay your program, but if it will only come with some level of results, look out for the others. And those you have already fallen on will now see your handwork right from the beginning, and now they'll have no option than to fall on. Because, like I said, in 10 years of existence, right now, although we cannot compare how hard it was 10 years ago to now. Because now, if you write to any of the administrators or those partners, they know what has been happening over the years. They have seen videos, posts here and there. We have documentaries. We have other videos on social media that they have now bought the idea into. And so you find it's more easier to explain yourself. It is usually difficult because right from the beginning, you have never come out with the realization of this program. So it's difficult to explain yourself to somebody who wants to come in with his resources to support you. Like he said, he had already fallen on some of this, and to a time it was now becoming more difficult until he was able to explain further to the Minister for Youth and Sport. And when he bought into the idea, it just happened. So we shouldn't lose focus as youth, because the challenges are there. But if you're able to overcome all these challenges, I bet you, the kind of things you'll be doing, all those people who were probably not buying into your idea, we will now have no option than to fall for you.
Okay.
So it happens that way.
So that's the thing. Yeah. And I think that we cannot do away with the financial challenges.
Yeah.
Okay.
Young people, we don't have money. And it's true, we don't have money. Where are we getting the money
We just
from?
have ideas.
We have it. That's great. The intellectual capacity, the creativity, the talent. We have it. You can't take it away from us. And because that is the most powerful and even much more than the money, we are being coerced. So we don't bring it on board. Because if 2, 3 people, young people come together, it's crazy. Anything that they decide on that they are very much convicted and convinced with, they can make it happen. So that's one, sometimes they tear the old folks, if I may say, and then they always want to push us away. But I will want to say that let's not the financial challenges be the bigger challenge, the bigger mountain that you cannot overcome. You know, create the alliance, connect with people.
Okay.
Well, this is what I think we can do. What do you think? Do you think it is okay? Okay, fine. I think it is okay. Okay, you talk to Cyril. Say, well, this is what David is saying. This is what I think we can do. Okay, now it's left with cash. I have 5 cedis. I have 5 kwacha. I have 5 Egyptian pounds. Okay, let's put it together. How much do we even need? Okay, we need 15. Now we've gotten 15. What do? We bring other young people on board. Okay. Those with similar understanding, like-mindedness, that can see reason with you. Okay, so if everybody, we need 50, and then we don't have 50, and then we have 3 now, and we can even have extra 35 to make it happen. What do? We bring all of them on board. So everybody brings the little, and it becomes big. So with that, we can make that particular idea work. We bring it to fruition. It becomes a reality and no more a dream. We continue dreaming, and then it will still stay in our head. We'll die and we'll take it away.
What efforts, both organizations, what efforts are you making to reach out to all of the 54 African countries and Morocco?
So now we are already 55 because Morocco is 5.
Well, so I said 54 and Morocco because of the fact that Morocco is not with the African Union yet.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't want to go into the issue of Sahrawi now, so because of the debates. So now we know by the African Union standards we are 54. I remember when I was with the All African Students Union, when they asked the membership of my organization, I would say 55. Then people are quick to say, but African Union has 54. I said, yes, Morocco is not part of the African Union, but they are part of the All African Students Union. So at the student level, the national student unions are 55.
Good.
But continental level, the body that has charge or responsibility of the continent recognizes 54 because Morocco once upon a time went out of it. So that is not the debate for today. But my question is, you are doing well in some parts of Africa, but you can improve. So what plans do you have for the entire African region?
Thank you.
King first.
Yes, you know, you have a big vision and you start small. When you say you want to start big, you break your back.
That's true.
You cannot get there. So as we've started with Ghana, and we have most of our members also working in the African Union and also in other organizations of the African Union that are in other countries of the continent. They are actually making impact there. They go for programs, training and seminars representing Youth Without Borders.
Okay.
So the impact that is being made is a reflection of where he or she is actually coming from. Myself, I go and I represent Youth Without Borders and other programs in the continent.
Okay.
This year, probably, aside even the continent, I've been outside the continent also. I'm not sure there's a time to talk about all that. But then what we are actually doing is that wherever there is a young people or a group of people who are youth, we want to connect.
Okay.
We want them to feel that, hey, this is what we think and this is what it must be done. If they also have an alternative idea, we talk about it and then we make it happen. So we connect, we collaborate, and we cooperate as Youth Without Borders. That's actually what we do. So I can say that the successes we have achieved so far, though that is not what we want to be, because we are still dreaming big so far, is because we want to connect with young people. We collaborate with them, make it happen, and we cooperate, because if you don't cooperate, your collaboration will not hold. You will not be able to make any meaningful meaning and understand it. Yes, so at least so far we've been able to make impact. I know in Egypt, because I was in Egypt, South Africa, I was there with one of my colleagues now that is currently now working with the AU in Nigeria. They are commissioned for science and technician research. That is where she is.
Are you talking about Apple Richard?
No, Apple is in Algeria.
Okay.
So we have another member also that is in Algeria. This one is Yaya.
Okay.
Yes.
I know Yaya too.
Exactly.
So within the space of 2014 till now,
yes,
you have empowered so many people who are now in different African countries working for young people.
Exactly.
No, that's great work.
Yes.
And you also said that beyond Africa, you have you create networks with others. So that basically tells us that your organization is trying to form some synergies with other continents.
Yes.
So the concept of a global village is what you are trumpeting.
Yes.
So that Africa is not isolated from world economy, world politics. Whatever happens in the world, Africa is logging in at the youth level through the bits that you are also doing with your organization.
Good.
Yeah. So Cyril?
Yeah, so we also have the, what do you call it, the yard line that's right from the 10 years of existence, what's next? Okay. And just as I mentioned earlier on, we have already started this in 3 African countries, but sometimes we look at the cost that comes with, and then even the resources that comes with setting up a conference of this sort in a different country, and the person has to take care of maybe you, the one with the expertise, or the team coming on board to train. So this is what we are looking at within the next years now. If it is Nigeria, we look out for the countries which are more closer to Nigeria. Now train those that we have already set up the conference for in Nigeria. Let those people have that platform we have, and then for them it will be much more easier to move to the next country closer to them. And if it goes that way, that synergy will now form from the small village we have as Africans, right from Ghana to Togo, Ghana to Benin, and because they are that close, then we can now move from other countries which are closer. Before we realize, within the next 5 years, we would probably cover up to the next 20 or 25 countries, because it's nothing that difficult. You need youth who are ready, youth who have the idea of what the Model UN is all about. And for them to also buy into that, it takes them a long way to participate in a conference, because it's what they see that they buy into. You get it? Just like how the beginning started. So once you have all these things, and it will be much more easier doing it in your country, because you cannot leave your country and go and do it in someone's country. At the end of the day, you have challenges with
cultural issues,
so many
legal issues.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have people in their own country who can hold all these things, and now you come in as more or less like a consultant or somebody with the expert knowledge to come and assist or train them. And before you realize, you are doing more impacting on the youth, because I'm very glad to say that you get a lot of youth who come out from these kind of conferences doing a lot on their own. Yes, and so if you have that from Ghana, you have others springing out from other countries. And in the near future, African countries, the youth in African countries will be doing a lot on their own. And once this also goes a long way to help themselves, the country benefits, and the global village is a better place to be.
I want to ask a very dicey question. When we were all students, we accused the older generation that when they get out of universities, they don't come back to help us. I remember you when you were with the National Union of Ghana students.
Exactly.
So also is it with King David. Your various universities, the institutions that gave you the training, skill, knowledge, attitude needed to start all of this, and you all confessed, you both confessed on this program, that you started all of these whilst you were still students in the universities. We are very happy about that. Do you undertake training programs in African universities? Maybe I should ask of your various universities.
Yeah, for me, 3 years ago, I was so surprised that I happened to be part of the conference through a friend who was in University of Ghana.
Okay.
And so I saw the notice on their notice board when I went visiting. And I told him to help me with the process. I just want to know how this program is all about. To be honest, over the years, there had not been any student from UPSA,
University of Professional Studies.
Yes, University of Professional Studies, being a part of the conference in a long while. So then when I applied, I took the training, and subsequent ones, I was now moved from a participant to an official.
Okay.
So that was when I was part of the decision-making body, and I now asked the team, what are we doing to hit into the private universities and other universities around us? Because it looked as if the focus was basically on the public universities, traditional universities that we are looking at. So apart from those ones, what next? To be honest, once we started with this new theory, you realize that those from the private university, even to the larger extent, we have those in the journalism industry. That's Ghana Institute of Journalism, where we have
National Association of Film and
Television
Industry.
Exactly. And we have
Ghana Institute of Languages.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
You have Ashesi University, who came and did splendid performance at the conference. Now you are having rich youth bringing up ideas. I've tried this from my university, and I'm happy about it. What happens in the next future? Once you are doing that at the university level, like I said, we went to the SHS level. I also came out from Akosombo International School. That was why I went through my basic education. So before we introduced the SHS level, I thought of how am I going to bring all these people on board. So I went home, spoke to one of the administrators, and apparently in SHS University, the senior high schools, what they have is the United Nations Students Association. That is the best channel to now start working with, because all these people from that level, they try to get an understanding from the United Nations Students Association on their campuses. So if you're able to pick them from there, they now feed into the concept. But it becomes more of a challenge when the institution does not have any youth group of that sort, and you have to now take them through, because now the understanding becomes more cumbersome to the young youth. You get it? So for me, I feel the little that you do, it could be training, it could be giving somebody the opportunity to be a part of a program. It could be also just trying to give that platform for whoever it is, from where you actually come from, anyway, anyhow. And one day you'll be happy about what you will see.
King, have you paid your dues enough?
I think this is not a dicey question, but it's a good question you've asked. It's great. I studied at the University of Education, and it's been fantastic that my people actually support me. And because of that, I have most of my students being part of that association. Okay. Because they realize, okay, this is an alumni, he's doing good. He's been here on several occasions upon invitations. He comes to deliver, and he still thinks about us. I quite remember there was a
currently you are saying that you go, they invite you and you speak to them.
Yes.
You go, okay.
I go for programs.
Wow.
And I was even coming to that. A colleague of mine was wondering, but you are done with school, stop all these students kissed. And I was like, come on, what are you saying? I should stop all these students kissed. These people see you there, that you are probably advocating for their dream, their intentions, and their thoughts. And they want you to come and motivate them more in presence, face to face. And say, you don't want to go, you are now big enough. That's when people call you, don't want to go, people that look up to you. Come on, no. So I go, I talk to them, I let them know that all hope is not lost. Okay. So far as you have been able to make it, and we are here, and we are still pushing ahead, you can also make it. And that is not only with my university also, because my association is mixed up with all young people from all sectors, cut across Ghana, because we have regional coordinators all over the place in Ghana, every single region. So our new region that is going to come, we have to get coordinators over there because we have to get to the grassroots, the young people over there, and talk to them so they can understand that they are growing to become good, proper, and better leaders than what we are witnessing. So because of that, we have this program with the KNUST, like I mentioned, YTBS, Youth in Technology and Business Summit, because we have KNUST people that are in my association that will want to deliver and give back to where they came from. This entrepreneurship training that we did was with the Muslim youth, and what it happened in KNUST. Some of the Muslim students are in KNUST, some were from other universities. They came and they participated. Aside that, we have also been connecting with UPSA, University of Professional Studies. Here, I quite remember on the Gender International Women's Day, decided to do a program on gender. That's Career Women in Leadership Forum. Because we think that career women don't really actually get the time. But how can you be a career woman and still occupy a leadership position in the country we live in, Ghana, especially being a woman, to also raise that gender advocacy, that level, and have the gender parity. Similar one was also done at GIMPA. That's also another university that I have some of my members in there. So they are also giving back to their community, their constituents, where they hail from. Young women in leadership forum, young women having positions in school, having positions in the workplace and all that, how they can connect, coordinate, and make it work as a young people, because you don't need to grow up before you can do something. So these are the bits and pieces of what we've been able to do as an organization, giving back to the society. We even went down to the SHS, where we did the I Empower Youth Empowerment Campaign, a 2-year program targeting SHS leaders, because they're going to be finished, they're going to come to the university, and different ideas are going to be shaped and all that. So they need to have something connected and correct, concrete in their mind that will help them when they get into the tertiary university and make that particular difference.
Okay. I think the second segment would come when we go for a break and come back. But before the break, Africa has a myriad of challenges. We have a number of good things, a number of fantastic things. No two ways about that. But agreeably, we also have a myriad of challenges. Now, these challenges are in different areas: culture, agriculture, education, sports, just name it, drugs, and all of that. Now, for what you have been doing, you have identified some segments of Africa's challenges that you are working towards changing. And you did not start this after school. You started all of this whilst you were still in the universities. Do you not think that if African students within the nook and cranny of our continent decide that they take up responsibilities like you did whilst you were in school? One forms an anti-drug club to advocate against drug abuse. Somebody forms cultural preservation club to advocate for the preservation of African culture using digital technology. Somebody begins agricultural club, helping our old folks with knowledge learned in university to come up with improved seeds and all of that. Do you not think that the challenges of our continent, or the burdens of our continent, would be lessened?
Sure, it will.
Yeah, so I take your opinion.
Yeah, it would. To a larger extent, it would. Because if you start in your small way, like you said, there are numerous challenges. But in all these challenges, you can categorize them in different fields. And in whichever way, once you identify a problem, that problem feeds into the kind of challenges that we are facing. If it's something more health related, it will surely get into that yardstick where in the near future, whatever you do, more of an advocacy or a resolution or a solution goes a longer way to support the problem and try to solve it. If you have groups, youth groups right from the basic level, when you, like right now we are seeing that because of the SDGs, we have few basic schools that teach all these things, what do you call it, the policies which will actually feed into it. So before you come out, you have some basic idea about what the SDGs talk about. The same way, if you didn't start all these things from the basic level, when you get to the larger extent, it will become a bigger picture for you. So let's not wait till then. Let's now start something. Try and solve a problem. It will go a long way to help.
Yes, King David?
Yes, it's a very fantastic thing. That is what needs to be done.
Okay.
So in as much as our people do not realize that, I think it is incumbent upon people like myself and my organization to sensitize them, to let them know that this is what you are supposed to be doing, especially to the young people, because they are the future of today, not tomorrow. That's and I think it's past. We are the future of today. We are ruling and then making the leadership decisions today. So whatever decision that we make today affects generations yet to come.
Okay.
Yes. So as part of our programs, we make sure that we talk to the people what it is of essential for them to know and do. Just like I mentioned earlier when we talk about how patriotism is of essence, nationalism and then Pan-Africanism. So we have to make sure that now we let them understand that, okay, yes, we'll talk to you about this and this and this and that. But when we go, also make it a conscious effort to start something on your own, targeting the particular subject of interest. Yes, because you may want to do drag, but then let's say drag organization as I put, but you may not have the interest in that aspect. You cannot push it that much.
Exactly.
Yes. So you look for a problem. The SDGs, as we talk about, I say they are problems. They've just given it a fine goal, a name, you see, sustainable development goal, but they are problems. 17 problems that we wish to solve in the next 15 years.
Yes.
So that is the problem we are having now. So if you want to target something from there, and it is not specific or subject to a group of people, it is for us all over the globe. I was in India and then we were told that if the SDGs are going to be achieved, as we talk about, then it must come from India, looking at the population of 1.3 billion people. And almost every single thing in the SDGs is happening in India. You get it? So if India is able to achieve to a specific percentage, then we can say that the world in entirety achieved this SDG goals. So we have been able to solve that particular problem.
The conversation is getting more interesting, but our time is up. I think that what both of you are doing, your organization, would fit aptly into the strategic agenda of the African Union, Agenda 2063. But that's not what we're talking about today. I guess that you'll be good human resource or resource persons for yet another discussion on the Agenda 2063. Of course, that is not my line of reasoning. I take care of student issues. Somebody else will take care of that. But what are your final words before we go? Eugene first.
So this is out there to the youth. You don't wait till you go through all these challenges in life before you try to reposition yourself and then try to make it out of that clutter. It starts from now. There are so many ideas we always think about. The best is try to have some level of documentation in whatever you do, because just like an idea, it comes and it goes. So if you're able to document everything you do, now you try to get people who buy into your idea, and then with time, you'll be able to do something. Because just like you said, all these things started whilst you were in school. When you're in school, it's the best place to meet all these people, because there are so many people coming out with different resources, different backgrounds, who would actually be useful to you in the near future. So you have an idea, look out for those who buy into them, document everything you do, and do not wait till it's too late before you try to start up, because that is the moment people actually give up easily. I mean, when you're starting whilst in school, you know that there's more time when you come out from school. You can still connect, you can still make some contacts, and then pick up from there. But you wait, there are so many things you have been through, time is totally spent, and now you are now come to start all over. It becomes something like a bigger picture to you. And that is the moment people give up. So I would want to encourage the youth to try and do something on their own.
Okay. King?
At you to that word is, we say our voices are our actions. So what we speak, we make sure we work it out. We don't just come and talk on TV or radio and we go. And we believe the future is now.
Absolutely.
This is the time to do everything you are supposed to do. As a young person, don't wait for tomorrow. What if tomorrow never comes? We say tomorrow is just a promise that we use to prevent people from achieving their dreams. Oh, don't worry, tomorrow we'll do it. So you don't do it today. Tomorrow comes to tell you tomorrow. When is tomorrow coming? So we use tomorrow to divert you from achieving your dreams. So please, we should do it today. We should do it today and believe that there is youth power. With the youth power, everything is being done. We say that the most important thing or the most powerful things in the world is the power of the youth and the beauty of a woman. So since we are young people, we are youth, let's harness on the power that we have to achieve every single thing that will change the narrative, that will turn things around and make the nation the great that we want it to be.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. This is a very splendid discussion. Viewers, you can find this conversation on YouTube at Association of African Universities. We have been streaming live on Facebook on Association of African Universities. And if you are on Twitter, you can get us at AAU_67. It's been Fred Awaah, your regular host for African Student Voices. See you same time next week. Thank you.